everybody in 1020 in the 1020 world. I want to spend a few minutes talking with you about this document entitled How to Analyze a Film because it will give you more to write about in paper 3. So to follow along with me, go to content and then to course documents and then to how to analyze a film. So films are very similar, as we know, to novels or short stories in that they're telling us a story. They include the same genres or types. They could be romantic, historical, detective stories, thrillers, etc. But they can also include subgroups like action, comedy, tragedy, westerns, which my husband loves, and war films. And the methods that you use to analyze them are very closely related, as you know, to those that we use to analyze literature. But films are multimedial, so they're visual media made for us as viewers, and therefore they take control of more of our senses than other types of literature in order to create special atmospheres or emotions and responses. So, along with those traditional literary elements that we talked about in the elements of drama video, like plot and setting and characterization, etc., there are a lot of different film techniques that are used to tell the story. So attention is paid to things like sound and music and lighting and camera angles and editing. And it's important to focus on how those elements are used together in making a good film. So on this sheet, we just have a list of elements and questions and ideas to help you when you're writing about Amistad. Or any film really. So obviously you want to know the film facts. You know, that's kind of a duh. The genre, what genre does it fall under? What subgrouping does it fall under? And the setting, the description of where and when the story's happening. So present, past, future. What aspects of the setting are focused on geography, weather conditions, physical environment, time of day, where are we in that opening scene, and then plot and structure. What are the important sequences? So how's the plot structured? Again, is it linear? Is it chronological? Is it presented via flashback? Is it a combination of those things? Are there other plots running parallel? How is the suspense being built? And do any events foreshadow what is to come? So we know that conflict or tension is at the heart of the film, and any great literature is related to the main character. So how would you describe the main conflict? This gives you a lot to write about. Is it internal for the character, where the character is suffering inwardly or feeling something emotionally conflicting? Is it external, caused by the environment or the surroundings in which the character finds himself? Is it both? And characterization obviously deals with how the characters are described. So through dialogue, by the way they speak, physical appearance, thoughts and feelings, interactions with others. Are they static characters, or do we see them change and grow? Do they develop by the end of the story? What type of characters are they? So are they dynamic? Are they just round? Are they flat? What qualities stand out? Are they stereotypical, or do they really stand out, and are they believable? Narrator and point of view. So the narrator is the person telling the story. Is there a narrator in the film? If so, who? Point of view means through whose eyes the story is being told. So through whose eyes is the story unfolding? Maybe it kind of shifts. Is the story told in a first-person eye point of view, or through an off-screen narrator, or is there no narrator really? And in films, imagery are the elements used to create the pictures in our minds, and they might include symbols. So we know that a symbol is when something stands not only for itself, its literal meaning, but also it's standing in for something else, a figurative meaning. So a good example here is the feather in the film Forrest Gump, if you ever saw that wonderful movie, which symbolizes Forrest Gump's destiny. So ask yourself about the images and the objects and the symbols used in Amistad. And there are some important ones like the lion's tooth, like the plant at John Quincy Adams' estate. So think about color. Think about these objects as you're thinking of symbols. And then what are the universal ideas, the themes that are shining through in the film? And this says, in other words, what is it about in general? I kind of have to disagree with the writer of this particular document here. I did not write this one. Theme is more than just what something's about. It's more than the topic. It's the significance of that topic. What is this film saying about slavery, for example? So then here's kind of the cool part that gives you a lot to write about. Cinematic effects, like the soundtrack, which includes both the dialogue and the music, and really all of the sounds in the film. And it enhances the atmosphere of the film. So ask yourself, in the important scenes in Amistad, what effect does the music have? Is it suiting the themes of the piece? Are there any particular sounds that you're hearing that are being accentuated? Now, when we lived in California for those 10 years, my husband is a retired audio mixer / engineer, and we both worked at a recording studio in Hollywood on Melrose Avenue called Buzzy's Recording. And he did a lot of ADR work there, and that's where an actor will come in and replace lines, replace the audio that occurred sometimes in the original filming with a new recording. And it might have been that the original audio was a little muddy, or not quite as good, or it may have been because there's some word that they want to accentuate more in the studio, or there's some sound that they want to add that didn't happen in the original filming. Use of the camera. So a camera shot is based on the camera's distance from the object, and there are 4 basic shots. There's the close-up, where the lens is focusing in on some detail or on the actor's face. There's the medium shot, where the camera lens picks up some background, or maybe just the upper half of the actor. There's the full shot, where the camera has full view of the actor or the object in the scene, and then a long shot taken at a distance from the actor or the object. So what camera shots can you identify in this film, and how are they used? The angle of the camera is obviously how the camera is tilted during the filming. So if it's straight on, then it's at the same height as the actor's face or the object. If it's high, it's filming from above the object or actor. Low, looking up at the object or actor. And oblique, it's tilted sideways. And that's kind of become the big thing lately in a lot of documentaries and even commercials. So does the way in which the camera is held say anything about the character or about that scene? Then we have lighting, which is focusing your attention as a viewer on maybe a character or an object in the film. It's also setting the mood, setting the atmosphere. So high key lighting is going to be bright and illuminating. Low key lighting is darker with shadows. So what special lighting effects are used during the important scenes? Filters are also often used to soften certain lights or reduce the contrast in the lighting. They can be used to eliminate haze, ultraviolet light, or glare, like from water when you're shooting outdoors. And using a color like a red or orange filter can enhance the feeling of a sunset, for example. Can you find examples where you think a filter might have been used in Amistad? What effect did it have on the scene? What colors are coming through in some of those important scenes? Remember how we talked about that colors are symbolic, and we have connotative meaning associated with certain colors. So that gives you a lot to write about. Editing is the way in which a film editor, together with a director, is cutting and assembling the scenes. And the way they're joined together creates sort of the rhythm of the film. So scenes could be long and drawn out, they could be short and choppy, there can be a combination. Do you see any pattern to how the scenes are cut? How would you describe the pace, the tempo of the film? All this gives you a lot to write about. So when you're analyzing films for school or for projects, you might be asked to use some or all of these elements. Link them together in a logical way and try to think of the film holistically and how the elements mentioned above work together to bring out the main message, in other words, the theme of the film. Thanks, guys.